Well, hello everyone. This is Michael Silvers, Director of Coaching for Peak Potentials and a trainer and Global Mastermind people. You all know us. If you could all right now in the little chat box that you have on your page, if you're near your website, just go ahead and say hi. That would be fantastic so we know you're all on. Um, and I can see there's a bunch of you on already. This is just great. You guys know me. I know you. A couple just quick announcements. We have Martha's. We have La Costa coming up. It's at the La Costa Omni, just to let you guys know. The first day on the 9th, we start around, actually, if you can be in the lobby at 12:45, that would be great. And then we end the last day, which is the 13th, right around 5-ish. But it can go. We've gone later, so be ready. Then we have, obviously, Las Vegas coming up, and Las Vegas is going to be fun. We start Las Vegas on April 21st, and that is at 4 p.m., so be in the lobby at 3:45. We bring you up as a group. You need to be there as a group, and then it ends around 2 to 3-ish, and then we go to the pool the last day on the 25th. And then Martha's Vineyard, we have the two events. That's at the Harborview Hotel in Edgartown, just like Edgar Allan Poe. And if you need anything, just let me know. Again, we start usually around noon on the first day of the event, and the last day we end around 12, 1, 2, so who knows. I would probably plan to stay over that night. You know, if we end early, you get a whole full day on the island. You want to take time on the island, so make sure you do that. All right, with that being said, and I am not going to say anything else, I am going to turn this call over to the amazing, the wonderful. Now, some of you don't know him. He is our, if we call you a maven, that's like calling you the female side, but he is our social media expert. I actually do a lot of work with him. Peak Potentials has done some work. Around the world, big players work with Andrew, and he'll tell you. Andrew, this is Mr. Andrew McCauley. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, Michael. Great to be on the call again. I love doing these calls with the GMPers, and I'm excited to be seeing some of you guys in just a few weeks down at La Costa. So it's a pretty exciting sort of stuff.
Oh, I forgot to tell you all, he's going to be joining us down at La Costa. And Mr. Andrew, which of course he's never going to say because Aussies don't boast of what they did, was voted in, what was it, the top 100?
Yes.
What was that? Go ahead, tell them.
It's the top 100. It used to be a Forbes top 100 social media influencers in the world, and the Forbes aren't publishing it anymore, but the same guy that puts those lists together published it just the other week, so I was very happy to be on that, and it was pretty cool. So
let's give him a big round of applause, everyone. Let's type some applause. So even though you guys can see me, I'm going to move around a lot because that's just how I do it, and I'm going to turn the call over to Mr. Andrew so you don't see me so much.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, tonight we're talking about content marketing. How many of you are using content effectively? Because content is one of those things that, especially last year in 2014, it was chucked around everywhere. People are talking about content marketing this and content marketing that, but realistically, what is it? What does it mean? And how does it all fit together? There you go. Now you can all see me properly. How does it all fit together if you're trying to run a business, and especially trying to get some business online? So I've prepared a little bit of a slide deck for you tonight because I want to show you some things. I'm going to show you some really cool things, and then I'm going to give you a checklist so you guys can take it home and use that checklist for your business as well. So let me see. Now, just a couple of things to get before we get started. On the chat roll, if you've got any questions tonight, please just post them in the chat roll. Mike will be watching it. I'll be keeping my eye on the chat roll as well. But if you've got any questions about anything that we're talking about tonight, please just type them in there, and I can answer those as we go. So that's on the chat roll as well. So if you've got any questions, let me know. Now, I'm going to share my screen, so bear with me for 1 second while I get in. Michael, I'm going to check in with you just a minute to make sure that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen there, Michael?
Yes, I can. Looks great.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so here we go. This is content marketing, growing your business using great content. Great is the key. Now, one thing I do want to tell you is that in about October last year, we changed the way we do business. Now, my business, Autopilot Your Business, is an online digital agency. We do a lot of online marketing for people, a lot of website development, but more importantly, we educate a lot of people around online marketing. And we were very big on developing content for ourselves. We have our own magazine, we have our own podcast, We have our own TV show. And of course, we have a blog that we do regularly. And we were focusing on
Hey,
our
Andrew,
blog.
I'm going to
Yes,
stop you for 1 sec because I'm reading the roll. We're getting a couple people say they can't hear.
they can't hear me.
And so Nancy told them all to refresh. Okay, refreshing their screen looks like it worked. All right, Andrew, continue on.
All right, hello, welcome back to everybody that couldn't hear me. I'm just setting the scene, so you haven't missed too much already. Content marketing. We looked at our business last year, and we said to ourselves, what do we need to do to really ramp this sort of stuff up? And we changed the way we did our marketing, our content marketing on our blog posts and that sort of thing. And it has brought in 8 times more traffic than we ever had before for our blogs. 8 times more traffic, which is huge. And that all happened fairly rapidly. So now we are enjoying an amazing amount of success with the way that we've changed what we do in terms of content marketing. So I want to share some of that with you tonight. Now, we only have an hour, so I don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to try and go through as much as I can. But as I said, there's going to be a checklist for you that you can download and take in your business after this presentation as well. All right, let's get into it. The first thing I want to ask you is, why do you need content marketing? Why? Let's have a look at a couple of key points here. Small businesses, which I think most of you people probably are small businesses, should be even more focused on content marketing than larger brands. Now, the reason this is the case is because you probably don't have a lot of money to throw around at ridiculous ad spends like some of these large corporations do. You're going to get a lot more bang for your buck if you're using content marketing, and we'll talk about that as we go. Small businesses need to drive brand awareness and leads with limited resources. No, not just money, you also have a limited amount of time, especially if you're a solopreneur or a small business where you're doing a lot of the bulk lifting. You really got to start managing your time when it comes to online stuff, because we all know that you can get sucked down a hole when you're on social media, when you're on your blog posts, when you're on the websites. So you really need to start controlling that. Content marketing can help you do that. Content marketing can generate awareness, engagement, and leads, and I can tell you that from first-hand experience that it's certainly doing that for us. We are getting, every week we're getting requests for different interviews, different webinars, joint venture partnerships, and this is all because of what we've been doing with our content strategy over the last 3 or 4 months. And trust. Good content marketing builds trust, and if somebody trusts you, they're more likely to buy your products and services and more likely tell their friends and their family. That's the good old word of mouth. Have a think about writing a book. If you're an author, people look up to you. Now, writing a book physically is not that hard. It's a matter of putting the content together on pages. Now, everybody can do that, but not everybody does. And the people that do get that authority. So people start looking up at that authority and trust and say, wow, if that's somebody who's taken the time and effort to write the book, then I want to find out who they are and follow what they're doing. And there you go. Authority gives you credibility and influence. So it certainly does give you influence if you can create that authority. And this is what content marketing is all about. That is why you need it. But let's have a think about what it is. What actually is content marketing? What does it all encompass? First thing I want to talk about is content marketing is a way for a business to educate. Now that's a key word there, educate. Educate your customers and the potential customers about your products and your services. It's all about getting information in front of them so it doesn't look like a pitch. It doesn't look like you're trying to sell them something, and it doesn't look like you're trying to one-up them, if you like, when you're giving them information about your products and your services. The goal is to offer tips, help, and education, as I said, about anything that can be helpful to a customer. Now, we're going to show you some examples of how some of these big brands are doing this and they've changed the way they've done business because of this content marketing. So we'll talk about that in just a few moments. And then what is content marketing? This kind of information can be shared in the form of a blog, white paper, a webinar, a video, a social post. It really is endless what you can do with content marketing. And in fact, some of the best content marketing real life case studies I'm about to show you right now, because they are really fascinating. It's really interesting to see what's happening out there as far as content marketing and where people are taking this entire concept in the marketplace. So I want to ask you a question, and don't be embarrassed if you do know the answer to this, but who are these two lovely people on the screen? Some of you probably wish you didn't know. For those that said that is Laura and Luke from General Hospital, you are right. Now, why on earth would I want to put a photo of Laura and Luke in General Hospital? Well, of course, if you're listening to me tonight and you don't know who General or what General Hospital is, it's a soap opera. It's a TV show, a soap opera that's been running in the state, for a long time. But here's the thing: why is it called a soap opera? Where did it get its name from? Well, back in the 30s, when radio was the main medium of people listening to, they used to run shows, supposed shows, and they were really content machines, content pieces for the soap companies like Tide or Procter & Gamble or Dove. They would sponsor a content piece, a story if you like, and they would create these stories so that they could insert their content, their product, their service, which was soap at the time, dishwashing soap, and washing machine soap. They could insert it into these stories so that people were consuming the content under the belief that it was a story, but the soap companies were actually inserting their content into the story. So it became one of the early pieces of content marketing, if you like. And then, of course, as TV came around and things got more and more, we still have soap operas today, although we don't call them soap operas as much as we used to, but they are still a very large part of what we do. Why did they do that? Well, it's a bit like a Trojan horse. They used to really like to be able to get their product or service in underneath the radar, sneak it in so that it was almost looked like it was natural part of the show, the program, and as it came in, they would say, oh, here's my, and they would product placement. You've probably heard of product placement in shows and TV places. Well, this is why it was like a Trojan horse, because they got in under the radar of people's perception so that they didn't feel like these soap companies were trying to sell them something. Guinness beer, they did a lot of this, especially around London. They would go to all of the hotels, the inns, and the different bars, and they would give Guinness guides to their different food types. So there'd be Guinness guides to steaks, Guinness guides to oysters or English cheese. And what would happen is the bars would put them up on the walls or in their restaurants so that it looked like they were giving some great information to the customer. The Guinness were happy because in every one of these posters there was a Guinness. Down the bottom right corner, you can see in both of those there was a Guinness goes well with good food, little symbol, little icon to remind people that, hey, you should be drinking Guinness with any of this food. So they were doing it, content marketing, way back in the piece when it really was a concept that wasn't grasped by a lot of people. But Guinness understood that very, very early in the piece. Now, Biggest Loser. We've all probably heard of the show. We've seen it. We've looked at it. Is that just a TV show? Is it a reality show? Or is it a piece of content marketing? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's a piece of content marketing. Why? Because companies paid millions of dollars to be a part of or a sponsor of this particular show. Jenny O Hams or turkeys were a massive sponsor. Planet Fitness were a massive sponsor. And throughout the show, and I'm not going to admit to watching it, and you can if you like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but throughout the show, they would say, I'm eating my Jenny O turkey sandwich today, or whatever it was, so that they could have certain product placement as far as content goes inside this particular show. It was a show, a disguised show, but really was all about creating content for these particular businesses that wanted to promote themselves. American Idol. We've all heard of American Idol. Same sort of thing. American Idol was a show. It wasn't about the best singers that are in the country. It was about how can we get more sales of music and how do we make that work in front of a mass audience. So when it started, you could only buy the winner's song. That was the aim of it. But now what was happening was some of the runners-up were getting just as good. So they did a deal with iTunes and said, well, why don't we sell all of these people's songs? Because if we're going to leave money on the table, if we've got 20 contestants or 10 contestants and 9 or 19 of them don't do anything, but people still like that music, then why don't we sell that as well? So American Idol is a great content marketing machine. They're creating content, we're consuming it, we're thinking we're watching reality, we're thinking we're seeing some great stuff, and we are. And this is the good thing about it, is that we are seeing good content. It's entertainment, we're watching it, but realistically, the end goal was to sell these songs through iTunes. Now, who is this person? Does anybody know who this person is? If you say Felix Baumgartner, you are right. Felix Baumgartner is the first guy to jump from space, free fall, back to Earth. Now, this was pretty amazing. This happened about 3 years ago now, 2012, and he jumped off a vehicle in space, and there was 12.6 million people who watched this guy do it live. Now that's entertainment. It was interesting. People wanted to see it, and since then, this is the video. This is his YouTube, or that YouTube channel. 37, nearly 38 million people have watched this particular video of this guy jumping out of space. Now, what is this? Why did he do it? Did he do it because he wanted to? Well, that was part of it. But the real reason is that if you can look on his helmet, or on his shirt sleeve, on his shoulder, or on his legs, you will see the familiar signs of Red Bull, who create content. They do not spend any money anymore on advertising in the traditional way. They are building and creating content in the most interesting ways. So get a guy, let's get him to jump out of space. Everyone will watch it. Now, do you think that they would get 38 million people watching their ads? Now, this video here is only 1:30, but that's a lot of views for an ad that they, an ad, if you like, a content piece that they got from doing this particular stunt. Now, if you've been watching Red Bull at all, you would see that they are a very, very switched on company when it comes to content creation. They are always doing things that are a little bit on the edge, whether it's a motorbike jumping off a cliff, or someone riding those jet packs through the mountains. People love this stuff, and this is what they spend their money on. They are not writing or creating ads like traditional sense anymore, TV ads or radio ads. They're creating content, and this is what's driving their sales. Their sales have gone through the roof because of this particular way of advertising, if you like, and that's through content marketing. All right, how about this one? This happened just a few days ago. If you watched the Academy Awards, and even if you didn't watch the Academy Awards, you may have seen this particular picture or something thereabouts on the news or on the social channels the day after. Now, this is Oprah, and she is holding what is a Lego statue. It's a Lego statue of the Oscars, and this became a bit of a trending topic the next day because people were photographed with this particular Lego statue. Now, why is that so important? What is all this about? Did Lego build that for her? No, some guy built it for her, but the reason it was built is because there was a lot of scuttlebutt about why a particular movie didn't get an Oscar. Now, what movie was that? You guessed it, it was called the Lego Movie. Now, if this is not one of the best content marketing examples I've ever seen, I don't know what is. Here is a movie about a product. The name of the movie has got the product name in it, the Lego Movie. You can't get much more blatant than that. And now, so what they did, they spent a lot of money on a movie that was tipped to win Academy Awards because of its great quality and content. My kids watch the Lego Movie; they love it. And I know thousands and millions of people around the world have watched this show and this movie and the spin-offs and the derivatives of it, and it's all about a product. So this has been one of the best examples I've ever seen. When Lego came out and did this, people love it, and they don't have to go and spend money on anything else, any other type of advertising, because this alone is driving a massive amount of sales to their business. All right, Mike, I just want to check in, make sure if there's any questions that I can answer while we're doing this, let me know.
Of course I will. No, they just think it's great you put Look and Laura up there, but all good so far.
Okay, good. Let's see. So that is Lego. So let's have a look at a couple of other things that I want to talk about. Coca-Cola. Now, we all know Coca-Cola sell a couple of products, one especially well, but they got into the content creation game about 3 years ago. This is the Coca-Cola website. Now, if you've ever had a chance to go through this site, you will find that it is in the top, I think, 1 or 2% of most trafficked sites in the world. And the reason it is because people aren't looking to buy Coca-Cola from this website. It has a lot of fascinating and interesting information that they're sharing with their customers. Information that's relevant to them, information that people want to know about. And if you get a chance, go and have a look at this particular site because there is a lot of effort and a lot of interesting things that they've put on there, but they understand that content marketing was where it needs to be, where their business needed to be. They knew that the ads that they used to make in the 80s and the 90s, which were great and people used to love them, aren't cutting it anymore. And this is where they're getting most of their, a lot of their traffic from, is this content marketing. That's Coca-Cola. Same with Kraft Foods. Kraft Foods, obviously, they're a food site. They're doing a lot of food recipe-based information. As you can see here, there's all sorts of recipes for all sorts of different products that they have. This is actually even busier than the Coca-Cola site. There's more people coming to this site than Coca-Cola site, which is amazing, considering that it's only been around for a couple of years since they've been doing content. So it's pretty cool to see some of these big brands embracing this content thing. Now, here's one of my favorites. This is Fit Studio. Michael, I reckon you'd be a member of this Fit Studio for sure, right?
Of course I am. That's actually me right there.
It looks like you too.
Yeah, sure does, absolutely.
So Fit Studio, Fit Studio is it's almost an under the radar company. I'll tell you who it is in a minute, but they sell this company. The owners of this company, the head company of this parent company, I should say, sells the most personal fitness gear in the US. They sell more than anybody else, and the reason that they sell a lot of this gear is because they understood when they were selling it in their retail shops that people weren't coming in to buy fitness shoes or running shoes or dumbbells to get fit. They were buying the opportunity or the hope to lose another 10 pounds. And they looked at it and they said, well, how can we help service these people more? Because when they buy their equipment from us and they leave, how else can we help them from there? We really can't, or we haven't been. So they said we need to be able to support them, to motivate them, to get them going, to get them running, to get them into the place that they wanted. Because if they know that we can help them do that and they do achieve their goals, then when they come back and buy more equipment, then it's going to be better for us because then we can sell even more. And they were very, very, very clever about this. And this particular site is run by Sears. Now, a lot of people are surprised that Sears would sell the most amount of personal fitness equipment in the US. Well, they do, and they do it because this particular site, Fit Studio, is an amazing site with so much information, so much valuable services that they can offer to people who buy the equipment. And of course, they'll have recommendations about treadmills and all sorts of equipment. And then you can just happen to click on it and buy that now. And where would you go to? Oh, that'd be the online shopping portal for Sears. So they are not only giving a lot of valuable information as far as their content goes, they're actually creating a place for people to purchase it while they're at their own house or their own studio. So that's a really, really good way, or really good example of people using content really, really effectively. All right, so how can you apply this to your business? What sort of stuff can you do when you want to start creating your own content? Because this is one of the keys, is that if you can start creating your content, and even just starting off slow, you don't have to be a McDonald's, you don't have to be a Coca-Cola to start off, you just need to get started. And a lot of people fail at their very first step, okay? So you need to get started. Here are a couple of things to help you get started. Content mediums. I just want to talk about what are the content mediums. What sort of mediums can you put inside when you're creating content? Now, often a content or your content strategy will evolve around either, let's have a look, text. Okay, so you could be writing articles on your blog posts and that sort of thing. You can be using social media posts, can be part of your content strategy. Video, of course, YouTube is there, but there's a lot of other videos out there. Facebook is growing rapidly and catching YouTube in the amount of videos that it's serving out these days, which is very, very interesting. So video is a very big one. Audio, of course, there's podcasts out there, there's radio programs, there's all sorts of different things you can do with audio. So audio is another medium that you can start creating your content on. And then there's images. We've seen the massive rise of sites like Pinterest and Instagram, WhatsApp and Snapchat. We know that some of these sites are the most expensive takeovers in the history of online stuff. WhatsApp was bought out by Facebook for $20 billion or $19 billion last year or 2 years ago because of the images that people were sharing. They knew that that's what people wanted, and you can see these sites are always growing rapidly. So text, video, audio, and images, this is how you can start to think about what could I use in my business, what sort of information can I share with my readers, my followers, my clients, and which sort of mediums work best for them too. You may find that some mediums work better for others. Sometimes you may have an audience that are a lot of commuters, and a video may not be the right medium for you because they're driving and they can't watch a video while they're driving, but an audio may be the perfect solution. So have a think about who is your audience and how can I give them the best medium that's possible. All right, so what sort of types of content? Now here are the 4 types of content that have been working really, really well for us. So I want to share these with you. So if you're taking notes, make sure you take a note of this page here. Common mistakes. So this is something like the 3 mistakes dieters make when going on a diet. Now I'm just going to use that as an example, but people like to know, oh, what mistake am I making, or what mistake could I potentially make, and what mistakes could I avoid, because I don't want to make mistakes. Nobody likes making mistakes. But funnily enough, we do like to see what other mistakes people make. So if you can write a content piece about mistakes, then you'll find a lot of traffic coming for you, because that is a very powerful way to draw in people and interest about your topic. Lists, for example, the top 7 things to avoid when eating vegan, or vegan eating, or whatever it is. So having a list, or a listicle, some people call it, is a very, very powerful way. There's a lot of talk around how many is the magic number you should have in a list. And there was a study done not too long ago that said 10 seems to, by far and away, win when measuring the number of items in a list. That's just a bit of side information for you. So 10, and then odd numbers seem to always work better. 7, 13, 15. They always tend to work better. Anything that's over about 21 can be a little bit overwhelming for some people. Wow, 37. 294 different items, it's way too much. I can't even begin to think that much. So be careful about your list. If you've got a lot of items in a list, break it down and make it into several different lists. All right, so that's lists. And then we've got case studies. Case studies, how one workplace dropped 200 pounds collectively in a month. So case studies are very, very popular because people want to see how are other businesses like me doing what they're doing. I want to know if they're working. What did they do? What is it? Why are they different than me? and why did they get a better result than I did, so that I can study it, look at it, and make sure that I can apply that to my own business. So case studies are very, very effective. And the last one that's been working well for us too is obviously how-tos. People want to know how to do stuff. Now, this can be something like how to eat healthy even when traveling for work. Now, a how-to is an excellent way to showcase all of your own products or services. How do I use your service, or how do I use your product once I've purchased it? How-tos can be a perfect way of doing that sort of thing. So think about, how can I use any of those 4 types of content in my business so that I can start attracting people, because this is the best types of content that we're finding is attracting people right now. All right, formula. Here's a formula, a little 4-step formula of the actual, once you've decided on how you want that content to be, here is the best formula for that content to take shape. The yes set. Now, we've all heard this before. How many of you would like to make more money? How many people here would like to lose another 3 pounds by the end of next week? You're asking for a yes set. A yes set in NLP terms is basically an agreement frame. You're getting them to agree with you before they even know who you are. So often you'll see this, and you'll see this through all of your Peaks trainings, that when there's a new session, there will be questions that are asked that gets you to say yes for a reason. And that is so that you can agree or get automatically become agreeable with whoever is presenting that information. It's the same with your blog post or your content marketing. Get people to agree with you as soon as you can, so that then when you start presenting more information to them down the track, they're going to be in agreement with you already. That's the yes set. And then go into explaining the problem. Now, they say that if you can explain somebody else's problem to them better than they can, they are going to think that you're much smarter than them. So I'll say that again. If you can explain somebody else's problem to them better than they can to themselves, then they're going to think that you're much smarter than them. And automatically, that will give you a lot of credibility and authority as well. So explain what the problem is. Let them know that you fully understand what it is that they're trying to find out a solution for. And then you go into the how and the why. Now, these 2 middle bits, the explain the problem and the how and why, are important, but they are not as important as the first piece, which is the yes set, and then getting into the last piece, which is teasing the solution. So you've explained the problem, the how and the why comes along, and you tell them why and how, what's going on with that particular piece of information, and then you want to tease the solution. You know, if you've been looking at XYZ and you've made a decision to do this, well, the answer is just 1 click away. So you're sort of teasing the solution, whether it's the next page you want them to take action, whether they call you, whether they sign up for a newsletter, whatever it may be. But teasing the solution, let them know you've got the solution, and give them the ability to understand that you do have the solution. Don't give them the solution at that point. You want them to have a take action somewhere along the way. So that is a pretty standard formula for your best results. So the yes set, explain the problem, the how and the why, and tease the solution at the end of your post. You want them to take action. If they've read all the way through your post, you want them to take action. All right, Michael, any questions there before I move on?
No, by the way, if you have any questions, which we didn't really free-frame it in the beginning, make sure you type it into the chat roll, and we can address questions from there. And if you don't have any questions, then obviously I'll have Andrew move on. So we'll just give it 10 seconds, and then we're off and running again. And if you type something, we'll get back to it as soon as we can. Nope, we're good to go. Keep going.
Okay, cool. All right. So this 13-point checklist, this is a little checklist that I'll tell you how to get this in just a moment. But let me run through some points here about when you're creating content. These are some of the things you want to keep in mind. Let's see. Is my title effective? Do I have a good title? So many times I see blog posts that have a really, really bad title. Think about, what are you trying to do in this particular post or this particular video? because your title is one of the key things that when people are searching for information on Google, this title is going to show up. And if this title doesn't reflect what your content is all about, then you may be just wasting your time completely. So is your title effective? Does my content have a main takeaway? So you don't want people to read your content or go through your content and go, what was all that about? I don't get what he was trying to talk about. He was not making sense. He was gibbering on. So does your content have a takeaway? Is there a point to what you're trying to say? And is it clearly definable when you finish writing that before you publish it? What is my call to action? We just spoke about that. But what is it? What do you want them to do once they've finished reading? Is it to leave a comment in the comment box below? Is it to go and join your Facebook page or like your Facebook page? Is it to share that piece of content on Twitter? Is it to sign up for a newsletter or an opt-in? Or is it to go and buy something or call you? What is it that you want them to do? So make sure that you have a very clear call to action inside your content. And is it useful? Is your content actually useful? Is anyone going to use it? So many times now, what we're seeing right now out there is that content is being created for content's sake. People hear about having to write content, so they'll write 3 paragraphs and they'll put that up on their blog post, and that's it. Nobody reads it. Nobody cares because it really hasn't been useful for anybody. I'm getting really annoyed right now. I'll just tell you a quick story. I was in LinkedIn the other day, and this person was posting content or posting links to their page. So I followed the link to read their article, and it was a bunch of rubbish, really. It was a 3-paragraph post, and in his link in LinkedIn, he said, "This is a really exciting piece. You've got to read this. It's really important that you read it." So I went and did it, and I went back and I was in 2 minds whether I should just start opening up and saying, "Hey, you are wasting people's time by sending them to that link because that is just crap content." I didn't in the end. I did send him a private message to say I don't think that's really appropriate. But people are doing that all the time, and if you start wasting people's time, you'll start seeing that you've been wasting your time because no one's going to go and visit your blog post. So make sure that your content is useful. All right, I can't stress that enough. And is it error-free? Now, not just spelling errors, but are the facts right? Have you got the right information in there? Because there's nothing worse than quoting somebody or using figures that have not been founded, because the last thing you want to do is have somebody point to you and say, that is incorrect, you're not giving the right information. So make sure that your content is error-free. Okay, what about formatting? What sort of things do you need to think about when you're formatting? Is my content visually interesting, or is it just a wall of text? So these days, people are seeing content grow. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever seen this on the blog posts that you've been reading, especially blog posts, not so much videos, but blog posts, that the ones that are working the best out there are the ones that are longer than ever. Sometimes they're 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000 words a piece. Now that's almost a book. That's an epic piece of content. But people are sticking around and reading it. There's a couple of things that happen when you find a longer piece of content. A, you know that the person who wrote it has taken a lot of time to do the research and create a really good piece. And B, people spend more time on the site reading it, and Google love that. If Google knows that they've driven traffic and you're spending a lot of time on a site, Google will say, well, this must be interesting. We really like the fact that people are spending a long time on this site. It must be relevant. We're going to dish that result up in search engines more and more. So that's the other thing. And then the third thing is people are sharing it more than ever. And this is exactly what we've done with our content. We've gone from writing short posts to long posts. We take a little bit of time to make sure we've got a great post, but also we're filling it with images that we've created for ourselves. We're putting little videos in there if we can, or slideshows. But more importantly, we're making it really visually effective too. So if you get a chance, you want to have a look at some of those posts, autopilotyourbusiness.com. Check out our blogs. You'll see our blogs over the last couple of months have been really long. You'll see how much they've been being shared compared to our old posts too. So is your content visually interesting, or is it just a wall of text? Did I break up my content into sections with headings? So are you breaking it up so that there is a easy flow for people to read through? They don't have to try and work out where am I can see it. Usually one little heading for 1 or 2 paragraphs, and then a new heading will be really, really effective for you. And did I include images? So make sure you check that out. Okay, optimization. Now I'm not going to talk too much about this because this goes over the head of a lot of people. But firstly, did I optimize my images? What does that mean? Inside your posts, if you've taken a photo from your camera, a lot of cameras will just give you a number like BA1333.jpg. Now that doesn't mean anything to anybody. The way Google works is that if you've got an image, let's say you've got an image of a brown dog, a photo of a brown dog, and you put up on your website, and you just say dog. When somebody goes to Google and they look at, they type in the word brown dog or dog, those images will come up. And Google can't see what the picture is, so they rely on people going through search and checking out what images they're clicking on when those particular results have been dished up. So if you write in your particular picture, let's say brown dog sitting on the grass, and when people do a search for that on Google, that image will come up before any others because you've told Google what that is. If people actually click on that because they've searched for that particular topic, they're going to know that that's exactly what it is, and you're going to see a lot more results coming from a better descripted image. Now I don't want to get too techie on that, but just make sure that you are labeling your images correctly. Even though people can't see it when they're reading a blog post, Google knows exactly what it is. So make sure you're optimizing your images. And did I include internal and external links inside your blog post? So an internal link is linking to another page or another post. If you've written a great piece of content, talk about some other content that you've written as well. Get people to stay inside your site as long as you can. And then external links, do you have a link to share that people may want to go and reference some of the information you are talking about? We've increased our external links. We're putting about 10 to 15 different external links in our posts right now, just to different sites, so that we give a shout out to people and then we'll let them know about it, so they're coming and driving traffic back to us as well. So external links can be really, really effective. And the last one, final steps, did I preview and check over my post? So many times we see mistakes galore. People didn't check it, or it didn't flow right, or the sentence stopped halfway through. So make sure you're previewing and checking over your post. Did I schedule my post? Did I actually set it up to go out? And these days you can schedule your posts. If you want to write a number of posts and then schedule them out over the next period of weeks, you can do that with most platforms these days. And then, do I have a promotional plan? Do I have a plan that I'm going to, what sort of content I'm going to put out? Because a lot of people, and we were doing this too, we're guilty of it. We're just coming up with a different topic every week, so yeah, that would be good. Now we're actually sitting there with a calendar for the next 6 months. We know exactly what content we want to put out. We know why we want to put it out, because it matches with what we're trying to achieve at the time. All right, I think that is it. I've got one last slide for you, and this is, I love this from Seth Godin. He says, something remarkable is worth talking about, worth noticing, exceptional, new, interesting. It's a purple cow. Boring stuff is invisible. It's a brown cow. So don't be a brown cow. Be a purple cow. If you haven't read that book, go and read that book. All right, Michael, I am going to bring it back. We are there. Let me know if there's any questions. I'm going to wrap it up right about there, and we can answer some questions.
Fantastic. Yeah, we have one question from Mr. Donald Lehner. So are you spacing the JPEG name, or will camel case work? Example, brown dog. You can take a look at the roll on that one if you want.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, you can space it, Don. Yeah, you can space that. You can put a whole sentence in there if you really want to, but make sure it's specific to what it is. But yeah, you don't need to have all the words together. You can space it out. So, good question.
Fantastic. That's great. That's the only question so far tonight. I mean, oh, here we go. What's the best naming convention? Oh, take a look at there. There's a couple coming in right now.
Okay, what's the best naming convention for images? Name them as you said on your alt text is where you want to be naming them. So name them as you see them. Name them as if somebody was searching for that image. So if you've got an image of a red shoe, describe what sort of red shoe it is. Red lady's shoe. If you want to put a size on there, you can put a size on there too. But the more specific you are, the more likely you're going to get the right target looking for that particular shoe. So name it as specific as you can. Spaces and hyphens. Yeah, spaces. You can have spaces. I wouldn't say hyphens because people get confused with hyphens. You can leave spaces inside your naming convention when you're putting text in your alt tag too. So I hope that makes sense for you. HTML labels. Yeah, I think I've covered that. All right. Any other questions out there?
Nope, that looks like it, because we want to finish on time. I say, anything else you need to wrap up with before I move to the next piece?
No, I am good. I'm done.
All right. You think we should give them a? You think that we should give them a present?
Oh, well, do you think so? I think it'd be great.
Hey, all of you, type. Would you like a present? I want to see if anybody's listening. It's always the way to do it. Dum, da, dum, da, dum. Are they going to type? I would love a present. Oh, I like presents. You know, I'm just waiting for that all to be typed in. Okay, you know, I don't know how much they want a present. I'm not feeling it. How about you, Andrew?
It may be on a touch of delay, so I'm sure that
I know it is.
I think through as we speak.
This is like who's been good and who's been... Well, anyways, one thing Andrew and I were talking about, and I talked to Adam about this too, is there's so much going on in social media right now, and a lot of you are really looking to get help with that, and you're not sure always where to go. You know, there we go. Yes, here they come. So, you know, Nancy, obviously, Nancy Gaines has found a way really quickly, and she's, you know, you're all brilliant, and Nancy, you're incredibly brilliant. And so we wanted to look at a way for you all to have scripts and templates, things that you can download and use at any time when it comes to social media, video training, something that you could refer back to as much as you could. That's great. Kate says, I'm a great receiver. A place that you'd have a private Facebook group where you actually could ask questions when it comes to social media, not on our, you know, Global Mastermind, because it's really individual questions at times and things that come up from you. And, of course, adding bonus courses along the way, but really give you a one-stop shop for social media. And we went back and forth on this, and I knew Andrew had a resource, but I wanted to see what we wanted to do with this. So drum roll, please. There we go. What we'd like to do is Mr. Andrew McCauley has something called the Digital Traffic Institute. It's frickin' awesome. It has everything I just laid out in there, and it's a membership site. But what we took a look at it, and most people pay $47 a month to be on there, but because he comes to all the global masterminds, because you guys love him and he loves you, Nancy's already been using the site, and so do I. We're part of the Digital Global, see, I got Global Digital Traffic Institute, and use the information in there, and you'll see us on there. What Andrew has done is he's going to gift all of you, wait for it, gift all of you 6 months complimentary. Can I have a big round of applause on that?
Yay.
Yeah, you're a good audience. See, and I'm rocking back and forth, so let me see what everybody's even seeing. Oh, they're seeing my head go back and forth. That's pretty good. I'm going to teach you guys what not to do during a giveaway. So it is a present for all of you. We want to really just help you make this a lot easier. You'll read all the ins and outs on there. Yes, you'll have to put in your credit card. No, it won't be charged. And then you'll get 3 warning emails in many, many months from now saying, we're going to charge you. We're going to charge you. If you love it, continue on. You're going to get so much in there from social media, you guys are going to go, this is a no-brainer. But it's really, for this first, it's the 6 months, it's a gift. It's a gift from us. We wanted to find a way to do it so you could have as much information as you're building your business. And I just said to Andrew, would you be willing? Shake your head, yes. And Andrew said yes. He is so much, if you guys know who he is, he's so much part of everything we do at Global Mastermind. For you at La Costa, you're going to spend a half a day with him, and he's just amazing. So how does everybody think that? How do you think of that? Huh? Oh, so you guys want to know the link?
Here we go. Whoops.
All right, Thomas Tadlock, I'm going to get you on this one. You know, when you get a trainer on the call, you always got a troublemaker, I'll tell you. Does anybody want to know what the link is? Here comes the delay again. This is great. You know, we could just say, you know, forget about it. But we would never do that because you guys are just too amazing. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to Facebook, and I'm just talking because I'm waiting for the link to come in. Andrew, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Boy, you really froze. You weren't even moving. You were just staring. So basically what I'm doing right now, everyone, is I'm posting the link into Facebook.
I can put in the chat box here too.
Put it in the chat box, and I'm going to put it into the Facebook site. And I want everybody to go there right now. We want to make sure. I've already tested it. It works great. But I want everybody to go there right now, and I'm going to pin it. I confirmed it. All right. And there we go. Very amazing. Okay, and take a look at what it really has. It's awesome. It's just awesome. And you'll see a picture by Nancy and I, and that's just because we love it. That's all there is to it. And Adam's actually going to be on too. Social media is one of his biggest pieces right now, and this is just a great, easy way to get the information you need. Simple, easy, because you guys know how social media works. You hire a real social media expert, you're going to pay $25,000 to $50,000. Do the math on that. And we've really, you know, we're bringing Andrew into our family. He's very much part of Mission Possible now. And his stuff is brilliant. He's worked around the world on stages. He was one of the stage presenters for the Ultimate Internet Boot Camp. But he's done so much more. It's time to just bring him in the family. How do you guys like having Andrew come into part of our family?
Crickets. There's crickets out here.
No, it's the delay. We got lots of yeses going. So, Andrew, anything else you want to say? I'm just really excited that you're willing to do it. You didn't have to. There's no reason Andrew had to do this. It's not about the finances. It's not about it's about his belief in the global mastermind and why he comes and spends all the time he does with us. We don't pay him. We don't pay for his room, his time, or anything. And it just gives us more and more of what we're creating, and it allows our students to have more and more. So, Andrew, anything you want to say?
No, thank you. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. But I think people are going to love it. You know, we have 2 live calls every month. We do a bit of training about a certain topic that's happening. Here's one thing that we really thought about when we created this was that we could have set up a membership site and created all these videos, but within 2 weeks, social media is out of date. It really is just moving that fast. So we said, why don't we have live calls, and then we'll pick what we're going to specific topic we're going to talk about. But you can ask us anything. If you want us to create videos for a specific platform for you, we'll do that as well. We want to know that you're getting the latest and the best information possible, rather than going back to a video that you don't know if it's 6 months old, 2 years old, and out of date. So we like to do it live. People asking us questions on those live calls. We also have a private group where you can ask your questions, and we'll get those answers for you. If we can't explain it in words, we'll do a video for it as well. So we have a lot of videos already in there for different topics. But come in. We look forward to seeing you and really sharing our knowledge and helping you, because we get this all the time that people just can't keep up. That's our job. Why don't you get us to keep up with it, and you can just ask us what you need to ask at the time it's right for you.
Great. You know, and I'll tell you, part of why this came about too is because Andrew and we met over at Ultimate Relationship Retreat, which was amazing for those of you that were there. But part of what happened is part of it with the conversation was, Andrew, how much can I have you on? Well, even if I had him on once a month, all right, and we need to use mentor slots for different people, but if I had him on once a month, the problem becomes how much social media changes, because just in the time we talked, and the time we had talked just a couple days before, Facebook had 6 new changes that affected people's businesses. So by having digital, and I know you're all going to sign up, I'm just saying sort of the why. As we build something, always think of the why part. You've got to think of the why, the what, the how, and the what if, and also he put that in the key points, sort of the teasers. But what I realized is social media is changing so much. I could bring every social media person on every other week, and we're still going to have changes within that we're not going to tap into, we're going to miss, that are not going to get covered, and it's going to affect your businesses. And I couldn't think of any other way but a membership site and to do it this way. And Andrew already had it. He's the one we trust. He's the one we work with, obviously. And I've worked with him for almost 10 years now around the world, and this is just for you guys. So with that being said, I wanted to honor Andrew's time tonight. All of you who are jumping on there, And why the registering, by the way, Andrew? I want to make sure that that everybody, if you have any, where should they email you if they, for some reason, they can't register, for some reason they can't get their Facebook, linked up?
Yeah, Andrew at autopilotyourbusiness.com. Andrew at autopilotyourbusiness.com. I'm in the Facebook group too. I'm in the Global Mastermind Facebook group. So just tag me in a message and I can private message you as well. So you can pretty much find me anywhere. I'll type in my email address as well on the bottom of the chat roll so that you can email me if you need anything at all. Yourbusiness.com. There we go. There it is there. So if you need that, that's my email address. So shoot me an email if you've got anything. And just one other thing, Michael, too, that 13-point checklist, I've just uploaded that checklist into the Digital Traffic Institute too. So you'll see that in the resources section. So you can download that. That's what we spoke about tonight.
Great, fantastic. Actually, I'm on the site right now. So I'm on the Facebook right now. That's awesome. All right. Well, again, I wanted to thank you all for being on. Let me just take a look at the schedule. So I want you all to know, because again, we work really well with each other, as in there's some funky schedules. So I'll let you guys know next week we have a call scheduled. Here's the little only that could potentially happen. I've got a speaker I've got somebody I need to be on the phone with, and Michael's been called to jury duty. The call should be fine. There should be no problem. I will update you guys from the jury room through the day. Hey, I'll give you live updates of my jury through the room. How would that be through the day? The 11th will have no call because we're right in the middle of Acosta, and then we'll be back on the 18th. That is World's Greatest Marketing. We'll still have a call. I know a lot of you actually are going to be there, but we'll work it all out. We'll make sure that we still have a call, and then we'll have on the 25th. So no, the 4th is 98% we're having it, and unless I get caught, who knows? Maybe I'll be on the next big jury trial. You'll see it all on the news. And then on the 11th, obviously, I'll be at Global Mastermind with all of you, and then the week after we'll go from there. I wanted to thank you guys for being on the call. Andrew, thank you for the time that you spent with us and the learnings. It was actually a tremendous amount of learning, but I'm glad that you posted some of that because there was so much to listen to and to work with. I know there's going to be I have questions right away. And you're awesome. You've been awesome to the community. You continue to be. For those of you coming to Acosta, you get to spend a lot of time with Andrew. For those of you who are going to be at our other events, you will meet Andrew. For those at Mission Possible, you're going to get a lot of time with Andrew. And get on the site with the rest of us, and let's just burn it up in social media. All right, Andrew, any last things, or I'm going to say goodbye?
No, the only thing I just want to say is that link that we've shared there, that is only for GMPs. We're not sharing that with anybody else. No one else gets that deal either, so just keep it amongst your GMP selves, and that would be great.
All right, yeah, nobody else outside of GMP. I'm going to actually have Andrew run the list for me in about 2 weeks to make sure that nobody snuck their cousin through. Which I know you guys wouldn't do anyways, but just in case. So I am going to check off a list of just for GMP because you're getting it's pretty amazing package, and it's only for Global Mastermind, that package. So with that, thank you all so much for being on. Andrew, thank you again for your time tonight. Global Mastermind, you guys have an amazing morning or afternoon, and everyone out there, go Mastermind. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.